John Frampton, Nevo Solar, you have an incredible, long-standing experience in the industry. I want for you to share with our group here on the topic of converting from a sales organization to an EPC. You started and got your big break and your big name in the space from being incredible as a sales leader. Fast forward to today, I know that you have a very successful solar organization, fully internal. A lot of people ask me and come to me with these types of questions. Tell me, what is your perspective on, or word of encouragement to giving somebody in this position that you were in a few years ago?
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, thank you. It sounds like you're calling me old, which is great, but that's okay. I don't know, I think it's interesting. It's like there's so many facets to this business, and I was raised on the sales side, so that's all that I saw. But I always noticed how important the other half of the business is, because it doesn't matter how much you sell, if it doesn't get installed, nobody's getting paid. And so on the sales side, I think all too often people, they think that sales runs everything. And it's like in solar, it's a totally different game because it's not that easy to install. I think for me, I was always interested in the other side of the business, so I would ask a lot of questions. And I think if I had any advice for somebody looking to get into the space, transitioning from sales to running their entire business, it would be to do what I did last year, which was I called you and begged you to go lunch with me and picked your brain for 3 hours. And so it's find an expert in the industry and pick their brain. The second thing I would say is find a really good partner, somebody that's really good operationally. My business partner is the best I've ever seen in that field, but find somebody that you can learn from as well, but is really good at the things you're not good at. And I think on the sales side, we think we're good at everything. And the truth is, you're not. So I think go get help, find the right people to get on your team.
I love that you touched on probably the one thing that I feel most passionate about, which is stay in your zone of genius and bring very smart people around you. Make sure that they're aligned with you and how they see the world and see the goal ahead of you. But the only way that you can truly build something amazing is by having a team of people that see the vision, right?
Yeah, I think, and this will probably resonate with so many sales guys and sales women that are listening to this, is I used to hyper focus on what I wasn't good at. And so I want to be more well-rounded. And the more experience I got, the more I started noticing the people I was looking up to, they surrounded themselves with really good people. And so double down on what you're really good at and then surround yourself with people that can help fill those gaps. It doesn't mean you can't try to improve on them, but I'm not going to be the best person to put an Excel spreadsheet together and explain it to a bunch of investors. So I hire really smart people and try to get them to work around me.
Love it. John, coming from a world of sales leadership and moving into leading as a CEO an entire company, what are some challenges that maybe making that transition caught you by surprise?
I think the main one is being on the sales side, we're always pushing, hey, just get it installed. It's really hard. It turns out it's actually really hard to install solar. It doesn't happen as fast as anybody would like it to, but I think probably one of the biggest surprises is trying to do it with speed and quality at the same time. And I think that's one thing that I've been more surprised at is it's hard. It's hard to balance both. People that want to push you faster, sometimes the quality, and then especially when it comes to salespeople that want the EPCs to eat all the costs and get them down as low as like you want your EPC making money.
Right.
You need them to make money. So otherwise you're going to sacrifice the quality and sometimes the speed with it.
Yeah, you hit on it exactly right. I think a lot of people, even myself coming from operations into solar operations, there's a lot more to it than it looks like on the surface. As you hit some of those bumps, maybe what are some words of encouragement that you would say to those that are getting started?
Lean on your existing resources. I think people are afraid to call the competition and ask them for advice and questions. And that's one thing I'm grateful I reached out to you. It was like, hey, I didn't know you lived as close as you do, and reach out and ask questions. Like I'm talking to, I guess, the competitors, friends of mine all the time. It's funny because they're dealing with the same issues. And so you can really lean on each other to try to help kind of solve some of this stuff. We all need each other in this industry right now.
Right.
It's too early for us to try to cut each other down and move forward.
I love that. That's exactly why I'm passionate about being involved in SolarCon this year and helping out, because I know I've seen a lot of, previously in the space, a lot of very heavy competition, not only on the sales side, but on the operations side as well. And I just see it as very unnecessary in a new industry that is changing as rapidly as we are. Creating an environment where people can come and very openly say, this is what I'm doing that I'm finding a lot of success with. This is why we stopped doing this, or here's something else that you could think of to get through the same problem. We all genuinely win as the industry is moving forward in a positive way.
Yeah, it's that whole blue ocean strategy.
Right.
You know, there's so much out there.
Right.
There's so much out there. So for everybody to kind of swim to one spot and start, eating each other up, it doesn't make any sense. But that's what, I'm with you. That's what I love about SolarCon too. I was so impressed with Jake's ambition, but his motive behind SolarCon. That's why I was attracted to it. Was he really is trying to bring everybody together to solve the biggest solution we're all trying to solve at the same time.
Right. Well, you better be there and join both of us.
It's going to be lights out. Let's be honest.
John, you've been in the industry for a long time.
10 years.
10 years. That's incredible. Tell us, for your perspective, how much has the industry grown and evolved during that time?
Oh my gosh, it's not even the same industry as it was. I remember when we got started, 9 months was the install time, and I remember when they whittled it down to 6 months. And I remember 6 months was amazing. And then I remember back in the old days with the 800-pound gorilla Solar City, we hit 63 days. And I remember they rang a gong because 63 days blew everyone's mind. So much has changed. The speed to install has changed. It's become more lucrative. There's, people have found different ways to make money. There's software has come out of nowhere the past 5 years to help. You look back at the way we were done 10 years ago and it feels so archaic. So technology is starting to catch up. The finance companies have really changed the game. They made it possible for the EPCs to grow faster and more safely. And then salespeople are starting to adapt and figure out there's multiple ways they can sell the product.
So true. Sounds to me like an amazing time to be in this industry. Would you agree?
It's never been better. So out of 10 years I've done this, it's never been better than it is right now.
I love it. I feel just the same.